Hi everyone, the project I will be presenting today is the epidermis. Let's get started. What is the epidermis? The epidermis is the outermost layer of the skin located directly above the dermis. Unlike the dermis, the epidermis is visible to the human eye. The epidermis, which includes 5 layers, acts as protection for the body as it is the top layer of the skin. Next up are the functions of the epidermis. The epidermis has a number of different functions, so let's get into them. The first function of the epidermis is the protection it provides for the body. The epidermis acts as a barrier against any injuries, any bacteria or viruses, chemicals, and UV rays. The epidermis also aids in hydration as it prevents water loss of the body because of its lipids and keratin. The second function the epidermis provides is sensation. The epidermis provides the body with its sense of touch since it contains Merkel cells, which are specialized cells that aid in sensation. Merkel cells also help allow the epidermis to feel pain, sense temperature, as well as feel pressure. The third function of the epidermis is its ability to help provide immunity defense to the body. Though the body has many ways it provides immunity defense, the epidermis contains Langerhans cells that are part of the immune system. These cells help detect any pathogens and then fight against them. The fourth function of the epidermis is its ability to regenerate. The epidermis is consistently producing new skin cells, which are called keratinocytes. In the basal layer, the epidermis constantly is producing those new keratinocytes to replace the old ones that shed from the surface of the epidermis. The fifth function that the epidermis is responsible for is pigmentation. Pigmentation is defined as the natural coloring of the skin as well as in plants. The epidermis contains melanocytes, which produce melanin. Melanin is the pigment that gives skin its color. The final function of the epidermis is the synthesis of vitamin D. When the skin is exposed to UV rays, which is also the sun, vitamin D is produced, which is very important for bone health. Next, let's get into the layers of the epidermis. The epidermis consists of 5 different layers: the stratum basale, the stratum spinosum, the stratum granulosum, the stratum lucidum, and lastly the stratum corneum. Each of these layers plays a large role in the protection for the body and carrying out the functions of the epidermis. The stratum basale layer is the deepest layer of the epidermis as it consists of active basal cells, also known as keratinocytes. These are attached to the basement membrane. The function of this layer of the epidermis is to regenerate new keratinocytes as well as produce pigment and allow for the start of sensory reception. The stratum spinosum is the layer right above the stratum basale layer. The stratum spinosum consists of multiple layers of keratinocytes, which are connected by desmosomes. This layer of the epidermis contains Langerhans cells, which act as important immune support and response to the body. The function of this layer of the epidermis is to provide flexibility as well as strength to the skin and produce keratin and lipids for the body. The stratum granulosum is the layer above the stratum spinosum. This layer of the skin consists of flattened keratinocytes. The function of this layer of skin includes aiding the formation of the waterproof barrier that the skin provides. The stratum lucidum is the layer above the stratum granulosum, and this layer is only found in thick skin, so that's like the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. This layer is a very thin, clear layer of dead keratinocytes. It adds protection to the body, specifically in those high friction areas. The outermost layer of the skin is called the stratum corneum. This layer includes 20 to 30 layers of dead, flat, keratin-infused cells called corneocytes. The function of this layer of the skin is how it acts as the primary barrier to any bacteria, viruses, chemicals, or sun radiation. This next slide shows an image of the layers of the skin, the bottom one being the hypodermis, above it the dermis, and the top layer being the epidermis. Within the epidermis, this image shows all 5 of the layers that the epidermis consists of that we covered in the last slide. The bottom layers of this epidermis allow for regeneration and immunity protection. The upper layers allow for hydration control of the epidermis since these layers are waterproof. The layered structure of the epidermis has a function of providing durability as well as functionality to the body. The epidermis and skin growth are very closely related. Each layer of the epidermis plays a different role in skin growth. Let's get into it. The stratum basale layer, in the stratum basale layer, cell division, also known as mitosis, occurs. New keratinocytes are produced here as well. These keratinocytes produce keratin, which begins the process of keratinization. The next layer, the stratum spinosum, begins the maturity of keratinocytes, meaning they flatten and begin to move upward. This continues the keratinization process as more keratin is produced. In the stratum granulosum layer, keratinization is in full effect. This means the cells are all now flattened and filled with granules of keratohyalin. These granules of keratohyalin form keratin filaments. The stratum lucidum, which is only present in thick skin, provides extra protection for the epidermis. This layer of the epidermis plays a role in keratinization because it consists of dead keratinocytes, which produce keratin. This layer also provides thickness and protection for the body in the palms and the soles. The most superficial layer, the stratum corneum, is where the final stage of keratinization occurs. This layer consists of fully keratinized dead cells, which are called corneocytes. The stratum corneum provides the primary protective barrier against water loss, bacteria, viruses, and chemicals. The cells are all now shed regularly and replaced by new cells from layers below. This next slide compares and contrasts the thick and thin skin in the body. Going down the chart, thick skin is found in the palms of hands, soles of feet, as well as the fingertips. Thick skin has 5 epidermal layers, as it includes the stratum lucidum. The epidermis is thick and can be up to 1.5 millimeters thick. The stratum corneum is very thick as well as keratinized. Thick skin does not have any hair follicles or oil glands, but it does consist of a lot of sweat glands. In the body, thick skin increases protection as well as grip. On the other hand, thin skin is found on all other parts of the body, including the arms, the legs, the torso, the face, and the scalp. Thin skin lacks the stratum lucidum layer, resulting in only 4 layers of epidermis. Unlike thick skin, the epidermis is very thin in thin skin, usually no more than 0.1 millimeters. The stratum corneum is a very thin layer as well. Opposite of thick skin, thin skin has hair follicles as well as oil glands, but it does not have very many sweat glands. The function of thick skin is to provide general protection and sensation for the body. In this next slide, I will talk about how skin color is produced. Melanocytes, which are found in the stratum basale, are specialized cells that produce melanin. Melanin is the main pigment in charge of skin color. Melanin is transferred to keratinocytes that are located nearby through melanosomes. There are 2 types of melanin, which affect skin tone. Eumelanin, the first type of melanin, is in charge of the brown to black pigments of skin. This type of melanin is very dominant in darker skin. Pheomelanin is found more in lighter skin, as well as lips and individuals with red hair. This type of melanin is responsible for the red to yellow skin and hair pigment. After melanin is produced, it is distributed throughout the entire epidermis, which results in skin color. There are very many factors that influence the variation of skin color. Genetics plays a large role in skin color, as they determine how many melanocytes an individual has, as well as the type of melanocyte. Though everyone has a similar amount of melanocytes, people with darker skin have more active melanocytes compared to those who have lighter skin. Another factor that plays a role in the skin color is exposure to sunlight. UV radiation stimulates the production of melanin, which can darken the skin. This is the reason a lot of people spend time tanning, trying to darken their skin to look darker. Another factor playing a role in skin color is age. As individuals age, melanin production decreases, which causes graying of the hair and lighter skin in older adults. Hormones can play a large role in skin color as well. For women during pregnancy or with birth control pills, melanin production can be increased. The last factor that affects skin color is medical conditions. Vitiligo is defined as the autoimmune loss of melanocytes, which causes white patches. Albinism is a genetic disorder which leaves little to no melanin production. In the next few slides, I'll talk about the different types of skin cancer, as well as include images that show what these cancers can look like. The first type of skin cancer is basal cell carcinoma. This is the most common type of skin cancer. It is most commonly developed from basal cell in the stratum basale. BCC is slow growing and often does not metastasize. This type of cancer is more commonly developed from exposure to UV rays, some of the most common areas being the neck, the face, the ears, the back, and the arms. This skin cancer is the least dangerous type of all three. To the right is an image showing all the types of the basal cell carcinomas and what they can look like. The second most common skin cancer is squamous cell carcinomas. This type of cancer is most commonly developed from squamous cells in the stratum spinosum. This type of cancer can grow fast and has a high risk of metastasizing. Like BCC, SCC is common in areas of UV exposure, the neck, face, ears, back, and the arms, but it is also common in scars and in wounds. If squamous cell carcinoma is not treated, it is likely that it will spread into deeper tissues as well as grow. To the right are two examples of squamous cell carcinomas found in a 95-year-old woman's shin, as well as an 80-year-old man's scalp. Melanoma is the third and the most dangerous type of skin cancer. Melanoma is the most dangerous type of skin cancer and develops from melanocytes. Melanoma is known for rapidly growing and metastasizing around the body if not caught soon enough, and it is most commonly found in the trunk for men and the legs for women. A good rule of thumb for identifying melanoma and deciphering if it is a concern or not is to use the ABCDE method. This is looking for asymmetry in moles or in any other spots in the body, looking for irregularity in the border of the spot, looking for color variation, and making sure that the diameter is not greater than 6 millimeters, as well as keeping an eye on the spot to make sure the shape is not evolving or changing shape or size. To the right, I included an image to show the difference between what a normal mole is up on the top versus a mole or a spot on the bottom that is considered to be melanoma and a concern to somebody. My citations are provided here on the last slide of this presentation. Thank you all for your time, and I hope that everything in this presentation made sense and was helpful to you. Thank you.